Do I intro it or you know I'm gonna intro? Hi guys, it's Lewis here, or Lewis and Brenda. We're here to answer a few questions. It's been a good summer for us. Our YouTube channel's growing, Instagram's growing, so we thought to give you guys an opportunity to ask us any and every question. I'm going to answer some wild questions today and Brenda's going to ask them. So hopefully you enjoy and hopefully you get a bit more information about LGA and maybe us personally as well.
So, do you want anything in specific order?
Just ask away.
What motivated you to start LGA?
What motivated me to start LGA? I think a number of things. So I was working in the sports sector for a while. Started when I was at university, just getting into like grassroots level coaching. And I think like most people that want to start their own business, there's a bit of arrogance attached to it. So it was like, I don't want to work for anyone, I want to run my own business. So there was a bit of that, but there was also a bit of, I didn't like the way that the projects that I was working on didn't really delve deep in some of the issues that the young people and the children that I was working with were facing. So for me, I wanted to create an organisation that did that, that used sport to really dig deeper into people's lives and help guide them through the various challenges and struggles that they went through.
What's your favourite thing about coaching?
My favourite thing about coaching, I think it's just taking people on a journey. So to be able to take someone from a complete novice, whether it's someone that can't throw a punch, whether it's a child that doesn't know how to bounce the ball, whether it's someone that can't do a push-up, just taking them on that journey and really being able to instill confidence in them by teaching them a variety of different skills. And then obviously the relationships you build, there's people or adults now that I've worked with since they were children. So to see them go from, you know, that naughty kid in school to now a prosperous adult is quite a nice feeling.
And on the topic of coaching, how did you get into coaching?
How did I get into coaching? It's gonna sound like every other sports person's story, but I was playing basketball at university, and that was all I did. I got injured, tore ligaments in my ankle, and was presented with all this free and spare time. So I got involved in my university's student coaching program, and that's it really, that's how I got into it. To be honest, I was working in Sainsbury's at the time, and this coaching job paid double that per hour, so it was like, why not? I love sport, and I like money, so let me put the two together. And then I just fell in love with it, and then realised that it was something that I was actually quite good at. So yeah, that's how I got into it.
Did you play basketball, and if so, how was your basketball journey like?
Yeah, so I play basketball. I still try to every now and then. I was decent, so I started playing at 14. First club I went to was Brixton Top Cats. And then I moved to a club called London Pioneers, which was based in Northwest London. And then from there I ended up going to Barking Abbey, which is probably one of the most renowned basketball academies in the country. For me, Barking Abbey was a really good experience. It kind of took me away from my normal environment in Peckham, which is where I grew up. Gave me a chance to be around some elite players, elite coaches, and really learn how to work, if that makes sense. From there I went on to the States for a year to go to a prep school, and then came back and got a degree and a scholarship here to a UK university. So I've used basketball as much as I could. I think there are a lot of forks in the road that have contributed to me as an overall human, and it allows me to work with the athletes that I do and prepare them for some of the forks in the road, i.e. travelling to a completely different country and having to learn a new culture. Having done that myself, I'm able to give a bit of an insight and some advice on how to do it and stuff like that, so yeah.
What's your biggest advice for hoopers?
Biggest advice for, are we talking about UK based hoopers?
Doesn't say, but I guess, yeah.
Biggest, I say, because I'm UK based, so our biggest advice for UK based hoopers is not to put all your eggs in one basket. So I think for me growing up, it was just America. Like most people of my generation, all we wanted to do was go to America. But with the emergence of opportunities in the UK growing, with, you know, obviously mainland Europe being an opportunity, I think it's important to keep your options open and work as hard as you possibly can. Don't stick with one coach. You know, learn from many different basketball brains as possible, because that makes you more well-rounded as a player as well. But yeah, just be everywhere. Don't be afraid of an opportunity, and, you know, take advantage of the many playing opportunities that are starting to emerge in and around the UK.
On the topic of UK basketball, anyone on the GB team able to guard Taiwo?
I'm biased in this. Tywo's a personal friend, someone I've been working with for a while. I'm gonna say no. Me personally, obviously Tywo is Irish, so he would never represent Great Britain in any competition. But I've been in gyms where I've seen him play against a lot of these guys that are on those rosters, and they don't have an answer for it. A lot of them know in their heart of hearts how it will go, so I'm always going to pick Tywo. I'm always going to gamble for him. So yeah, Tywo is my answer. I don't think there's anyone in the country that can guard him, but that's just my opinion. So,
what's the biggest challenge for a UK baller trying to make it to the NBA in your opinion?
And I've just got to pick one. I think the biggest challenge is just the talent pool. I think in the US, you've got things like AAU basketball, you've got the prep school system, you've got junior college, you've got a system that allows them to progress through and be exposed and be seen, which is strange because America is a bigger country. But over here, we don't have things like ESPNU that specifically documents youth basketball. We don't have, I mean, it's growing, we've got 𝐋𝐞𝐭'𝐬, so shout out to Sam Netter, but we don't have many basketball outlets, media outlets that are really covering the game and giving that player in the corner of Plymouth, I don't know, Birmingham, Manchester, a chance to be seen on a major scale. So I think that's the biggest difficulty for UK-based players, is being seen, because we have the talent. When guys get over to the States, they're doing well, but it's being seen from a youth player from under 11. Like, are you being touted as a prospect from then, or are you just cropping up on people's radars when you hit 18? So that would probably be my biggest challenge for it.
Who's your favourite player to work with?
That's tough. I have to say a few of them, so I give my top three. Number one, Tywo. I think me and Tywo have a personal relationship, so we're the same age. We played against each other as juniors, and I've really seen him go from like absolute beginner to like the consummate pro. So Tywo is one of them. I really enjoy working with Louis Norton-Cuffy. Again, that's someone I've known since he was a young player. Used to be a thorn in my side, really annoying, still kind of is. But you know, with Louis, when he's playing, when he's on the floor, he's going to go at whoever's in front of him. He doesn't shy away from anyone that walks in the gym. And he's extremely coachable. I'll tell him to do something, or I'll ask something of him, and he'll get it done. And if he doesn't believe in it, he'll feed back. He's not a yes man. So yeah, Louis is probably the second one. And then 𝐔𝐿G𝐿, hopefully that's pronounced his name right. But 𝐔𝐿G𝐿, another person I've worked with since he was really young. Ridiculously competitive. Definitely walked out of the gym a few times because he's lost a few games, but he's now currently in the States at a Division 1 school, and same with 𝐔𝐿G𝐿 really. Like, if 𝐔𝐿G𝐿's walking in with a minor injury, you won't know about it. Like, he's giving you 110%, and he's really trying to tear everyone's heads off in the workout, and you appreciate that as a coach. I never have to tell him to get right, or I never have to tell him to raise the intensity. That's just him. So I say those are my three favourite players to work with, but I enjoy working with everyone, so I don't want everyone to shoot at me now.
Who's the best basketball skills coach in the country?
Another one trying to... Again, this is my personal opinion. I'm not going to be arrogant and say me, but I genuinely believe the best skills coach is Ricky Broadmoor. Again, I might have a bit of bias in there. That's someone that's worked with me. So when I went to Barking Abbey, he was just kind of starting out as a coach. So that's someone I've seen grow as a coach over the years. And I've seen him, again, take players from young, like year 8 level, that are now pros, the guys that have been with him for the last 10 years. So for me, when we're talking about skill development coach, I'm not talking just about someone that works with pros and like helps fine tune their skills. This is someone that's taken players on a journey, a 10, 15 year journey. So it's going to be Ricky for me, but there are an array of others that are absolutely smashing it and that I look up to. So yeah, Ricky's my favourite, but there are others that are like close second and third.
Okay. So I'm not a basketball person, so forgive me if I don't pronounce it.
I thought you used to play. She said she used to play for a basketball team.
Many moons ago. Who has the best hezzy?
The best hezzy. I can probably guess who asked this question as well, because that's the person I'm going to go with. So the best Hezi is a hesitation move. It's like in a game, like it's like a fake crossover to go past someone. The person with the best Hezi is Ade. He knows it, the whole group knows it. And interestingly, so Ade has just graduated from university. He's actually going to start coaching with us, which is great. But he just comes to the workouts because he's still ridiculously talented and just gives these pros a hard time. And that's one of his go-to moves. So yeah, I have to give it to Ade. I'm sure you guys are probably going to see some footage now that shows him hitting people with the Hezi. But yeah, Ade I'd have to go with, has the best Hezi that we've worked with anyway. There might be better ones out there, but yeah, I go with Ade.
Why don't you do workout for women?
Tough questions. I think it's for us, it's simply supply and demand. So admittedly, because I grew up playing basketball, my circle of friends, my close friends, were male. So me initially getting into basketball as a skills coach started off with me working out Geddy because I knew him, working out Louis, working out Jesse Chukwu, who now is smashing it on TikTok, but at the time was aspiring to reach the highest levels of basketball. Taiwo being another one. So those were the initial network of people that I pulled from to create the basketball training service. We do have Melen who works out with us, but Melen's a full-time community nurse, so she makes it as and when she can. But I think for us, it's a space that we want to explore, but it has to make sense. It has to make sense for us in terms of finances, of course. It has to make sense for the direction of the brand, and we have to have enough of a following to do it. So female hoopers, if you're up for it, get in touch and we'll run exclusive workouts for women. But I think for us, it's just, I don't want to be seen chasing too many different ventures because then you run yourself in. So yeah.
But just to make it clear, women can attend the workouts.
Yeah, women. So Women can attend the workouts. I think for me, it's just I'm not close enough to anyone to invite them down. So you see, we've been to the 𝐋𝐞𝐭'𝐬 events and you've seen me talking to women that play basketball, but it's not, the relationship isn't as clear and as good as I say with a Taiwo or a Geddy or a Louis, where I've known them over a certain amount of years and it's like I come down on Monday. I don't know them well enough to invite them down. So it's a bit weird if I'm just inviting them to a random workout, but it's an open floor and anyone can come down.
So if you see this, sign up, join the men's working out.
You as well.
What are some of your highlights for summer?
I think firstly, wrapping up our first year with the kids basketball program, that was amazing. I think that was birthed out of, again, frustration for the lack of available basketball opportunities for under 11s. I've got a little brother that was bursted to play basketball and we couldn't find anything for him. So that was like a sporadic choice, and for it to have lasted the whole year, even through COVID, even through financial crises, was a really big win for us. And then just have it like re-establishing the brand as a premier coaching service. I think it's been a few summers off in terms of running skills development stuff. We had a really good group this summer. We ran some really competitive scrimmages, and for me, again, it was just about re-establishing who we are in the basketball scene, and I think we did that. And then, of course, growing the YouTube channel, growing the Instagram page. We're really starting to get known. People are bumping into me at events and congratulating me on the growth of it and acknowledging the footage. So shout out to Milo as well. So yeah, just the continuous growth over the summer. And then I think lastly is, getting or providing some opportunities for some of the guys that we work out. So a number of them are now going to be studying at the University of East London, and that's through a work, a relationship that I have, that I was able to kind of connect the dots. And then, of course, like I mentioned earlier, we got Ade that's going to be working with us as a coach on our kids program. So to take some of these guys on a full circle journey and not just be a basketball provider, I think that was a real big win for me and something that helps me sleep half decent at night when my son decides to sleep.
What's been your biggest challenge over the last 5 years?
Biggest challenge? There's been a lot of challenges. Biggest challenge, I think, is to keep a poker face. So, very, very small team. It's basically myself and Brenda. Obviously we've got Milo on board doing all our media stuff, but I think it's been really difficult to keep a poker face when I'm going through some really big personal things. So I think everyone knows in 2019, lost my cousin, he was stabbed. This year I've had a son, we've got engaged, we've moved house twice, and there's been a plethora of other challenges, relationship breakdowns, getting hit with crazy corporation tax bills that we've just had to manage in real time and just keep a poker face and keep the out-facing brand of LGA positive and uplifting and educational and inspiring. So that's been a challenge, because there's days where I really don't feel like smiling on camera. I really don't feel like putting out something positive, or something's happened behind the scenes with an individual and I really want to let them know how I feel on social media, but you can't. And I think that's kind of like an oath you take when you decide to go this route, but that's probably been the biggest challenge, like dealing with stuff behind the scenes, but keeping the stuff that can be seen by the public on brand. And you've seen it first, and you've seen a few of my tantrums at home. But yeah, that's probably been the toughest thing.
But we are expanding, we've now got a new coach.
Yeah.
Do you get, and if so, is it easy to get funding for services?
So, good question, because everyone asks this question. No, so we've been completely self-funded for 5 years. So every project we run has a cost attached to it, and the reason being is because we don't get funding. So from the venue hire, to the equipment, to the media, to the uniform, to paying coaches, everything is completely self-funded. So again, that was a decision that I made going into creating LGA, that it was going to be self-funded. Is this something that will continue? Who knows? We may look at some point, who knows, LGA might grow into a multi-billion-dollar company and we might sell some shares and sail off into the sunset. No, but yeah, completely self-funded. That has been a challenge, as you can imagine, in the midst of the pandemic, when we physically couldn't do anything. The income was completely zero, so it required me to be quite creative in that sense. But yeah, completely self-funded. So anyone that thinks we're raking in millions and keeping them, it's really not the case. So yeah.
What's the weirdest request you've received?
Weirdest request? Personally or LGA? LGA weirdest request. I wouldn't say weird, but I think, well, it probably is a bit weird to some and borderline disrespectful, but someone asking me to do, or asking LGA to deliver like a mentoring service for like no money at all, and being offered to be paid in Amazon vouchers. I think that was weird and disrespectful. It was kind of like that's crazy. Like you really think you're gonna pay a grown man in Amazon vouchers, number one, and then number two, it's just like, no. So yeah, that was probably the weirdest request. We don't really get any weird requests. I think there were a few funny messages throughout the summer. You get players that think they're of a certain level that want to come to like the elite workouts, and then like they're trying to justify themselves. That's always quite funny, but yeah, no, yeah, I suppose, yeah, that's one way to look at it. But yeah, no LGA weird requests anyway. I've got a question for you. You know, how is it dealing with someone that runs a business? Be nice.
It's good. I mean, it's great to see when you put your mind to something and you achieve it, and then that feeling at the end of when you feel like accomplished, and that side of it is really good. Like, nothing will beat that feeling when you see someone close to you putting in so much work and actually achieving what they want to achieve and what they want to do. But at the same time, we've obviously recently had a baby, so I'm quite limited with my time of what I can do, and sometimes seeing him take on so much, I want to be able to offer more help, but because he has a lot to do, he doesn't have the time to take out to show me this is how you do it, or this is how you should go about it. So I think trying to help, but not always being able to, I think that's probably the hardest thing for me, I'd say. But you know, seeing the journey and seeing it kind of tick boxes. So like he would, I don't know, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but like he has a note where like he writes down what his goals are, and seeing him actively like, you know, tick them off. And I mean, a lot of people do it. So like you've got your goals for 2022, 2023, or what you want to achieve within the next 5 years. So like, you know, the downside to sometimes plans falling through or whatever, there's also the good side, and I think that I guess keeps you going. So it's, you know, like everything, it's got good and bad, but you know, I wouldn't change it. Late nights, pumping up balls before sessions, going to pick up
pumping
t-shirts.
up basketballs. Basketballs. Let's not do that, man.
Yes, setting up equipment, going to pick up t-shirts, like, you know, things like that, or putting your heads together, like he said, to try and figure out how you're going to pay off this massive tax bill that you've received. You're so childish. It's got its good and its bad, and I wouldn't change me being here part of the journey. Yeah, I've enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see where it goes. That's all the questions.
There you go. Apologies guys, I'm 29 but I'm still a bit childish. But yeah, that's all the questions. We'll probably do this again sometime. But yeah, wanted to give you guys, as our supporters, people that keep us going, a chance to kind of ask us questions and find out a bit more about the organisation and what we do. So hopefully we answered those questions. Make sure you subscribe because we've got way more coming. Pause. So hope you look forward to the future. We certainly are. Things are growing. YouTube channel, Instagram, and we've got some really good, really fun, engaging ventures coming soon. So yeah, just make sure you stay tuned.
Thank you.